G'day, guys, and welcome back to the Supercoach Swordplay podcast, Season 4, Episode 16. You're on with me, Janath, and I'm joined with Spills today. Again, we're without DR. I say again, but he's gone on a family with the family to go watch the Boomers play China in the basketball. So it'll just be Spills and I steering the ship today. First of all, mate, how are you?
Very well, Janath. Yeah, good to be back on the podcast. Did another podcast last night. Not that I was cheating on you boys, but jumped on with the Supercoach mates, and they're doing some good things on their channel, and really like what they do. Sometimes I feel like they don't get the recognition they probably deserve, but went on there and did a little bit of a 2024 review and touched on Essendon a little bit. So definitely get around. Chuck a sub to them if you haven't, because they know their stuff. So did that, mate. Played footy on Saturday. Probably the wettest game of football I ever played, but definitely favoured me. Started really hot and had a great game. Probably one of the best games I've played in a long time. So really promising. Didn't get the win, unfortunately, but wasn't too far off the mark. And in a Supercoach sense, I have been a lot better. We'll look at that in a moment.
We'll get into that.
Very livid, but yeah, really good weekend, mate. Yeah. Footy was great. Really enjoyed it. Played back on the wing, and I reckon I had about 9 or 10 touches in the first quarter, and then went a little bit quiet. Just got really busy. Yeah, cash cow, definitely.
The real question is, though, mate, you're not in line for forward DPP, are you?
I think I would be one of those ones where I start as a mid forward. So
okay.
I think I'd be one of those ones just from previous, and just to spice it up a little bit. I don't know why I did this. Had a bit of time on Saturday. Very bad weather. Just watching the footy. A bit bored. Anyway, last week you and DR were like, what would you score in Supercoach, you reckon, if you played? Yeah. I had a real good think about it, and I looked at the scoring system on Google Supercoach, and I got a rough estimate of what I reckon I scored. And yes, I took into account like clangers and free kicks given away, and I didn't really give any free kicks away, but did a real rough estimate of every single stat. And I think I ended up on about 88 was the total. So
we'll take pretty
good week.
Awesome.
Yeah, had a lot of the ball, a few clangers here and there playing on the wing, but yeah, it was a good game because it was just such a contested slog. My opponent, he kind of ran into the middle, like trying to get the clearance, and I just held me width, and I had about 20 meters of space every time, and we're looking to go pretty wide. Yeah, got the ball a fair bit, and a lot of kicks too, like low disposal, but I think I only had one handball for the day. Like all my touches were just kicks. So
he's got the Supercoach pedigree.
So yeah, 88 on the weekend, mate. So
love that.
I think I am on the bubble now. I reckon I looked into the previous game I played as well, and I reckon I was on about mid to late 30s. So nothing too crash hot. My first game in about 2 years. So
might be a flash in the pan here.
Yeah, so
might be a one-game wonder.
A one-game wonder. At least I've got that 88 in my system, Janath. For 100. Let's say I'm 102k mid forward rookie. I'd be. I'm not the break even would be. I'm on the bubble, so we need him. If I'm not subbed, because look at the 102k subs coming through. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, really good weekend, Janath.
Nah, great to hear, man. Yeah, it was. Look, it's just been one of the periods here where, I guess as a Blues fan, it's probably the first time I think ever in my life where I just knew we were going to win. And even when Richmond were playing well, there's no period of time where I thought we were going to lose. It's just that sort of lack of trust I've had with Carlton in years gone by. But this year, it's just like the team's incredible. It's just incredible to watch, and sort of lid's not off, I don't think, because I don't think it's so much about the lid anymore. I think this is just a genuinely different team. It's like, it's so surreal, man. Like, I've got no idea how this came about, but
I wish I knew what it felt like. I didn't even touch on Essendon either. I think a lot of rabble throughout the week about the free kicks that should have been paid, and I get all that in a sense, but I mean, you pay those free kicks, and maybe the momentum doesn't change too too much, and we're still in the game. But
That's the main thing, isn't it?
as a Don supporter myself, I think even if those free kicks were given, the effort wasn't there. I mean, Geelong simply wanted it more. I think they're the free kick, like the umpiring was appalling against us, and I understand that. But I also think that even if we were awarded for those free kicks, I still think Geelong would have found a way because they were first at the ball every single time. And I don't know what, like, there's no one for Essendon that really steps up when we're going terribly. Like a lot of, sounds harsh, I love the boys, but a lot of downhill skis in the side. When we're flying. Everyone really plays well. But when there's a little bit of adversity throughout the game, no one puts their hand up. Like, where was Zach Merritt in that second half as the captain? So, look, I think
we'll talk about Zach Merritt, mate.
We'll talk about him. Yeah,
we got to get
ones at the moment.
We got to get moving. But yeah, look, good. We're both still in the top four, which is a good sign. And DR's lines are coming as well. So very quickly, $250 raised for the Royal Children's Hospital Good Friday appeal. It's a big milestone that. And look, we're just going to try keep going up and up on this milestone. You can get yours at supercoachswordplay.com. Shipping basically done within a couple of days. She'll be right at your doorstep and ready for you to wear in this cold Melbourne winter. And if you're interstate, I know it's cold over there as well. So take good care of your heads. With the Supercoach Swordplay beanie that Spilsy's proudly donning right now, as well as Big Martin.
Where's yours, Janath, by the way, on this cold Melbourne night?
I'm saving it to wear tomorrow morning.
Mate, I wear mine every day. I love it. I gave one of the blokes at work, one of the reps, beanie. So he's got it on his desk. So a little bit more advertisement. Man. Just spread the beanies like they're a virus. Get them going. Get everyone wearing them. So that's what we want.
Let's go on to the round reviews then, because look, it really was a mixed bag, I have to say. I'll just start us off because look, last week, heading into the podcast, I was like, team's going to be done. I'll bring in Rankin. I'll bring in Rosie. And then I just don't know what happened throughout the week. George Wardlaw got injured.
Trades. Yeah.
George Wardlaw got injured. And I just thought, why not zag when everyone's zigging and go get Jai Simpkin? Get Jai Simpkin in. And look, it was looking good for a good quarter. He was on 39 a quarter time. Had the roll, 92% CBAs for the game, and he splattered to a 68. And instead of getting the money I saved from getting Simpkin instead of Rosie, I had to spend on Rankin. So I didn't get Rankin. And ended up getting Merritt. And look, in hindsight, it was probably not the greatest move. I just couldn't bear to watch Zach Merritt lead some of the things that he's saying, like he lives and breathes football and everything. Like, on the run home for Essendon, I just couldn't not have him. And it was just, he started so well. And like you was just touching on, Spills, the fact that he only scored like 6 Supercoach points in the second half was a really big blow. It was a hammer blow, really, because it really dented my score. And then the other thing, and this is just me, this is one of the lessons I learned. So obviously you guys play up the fact that I think about Supercoach at like a deeper level. But this is the stuff that is just, it's just overthinking to the 10th degree. So Tuke Miller, emergency, got him at M9. So I'm obviously taking the 121. So I'm coming into Sunday, and now ahead of the Port Adelaide St Kilda game, it's between Jack Steele and Sack Butters to field. And I'm thinking Marcus Windhager's going to go to Butters. Butters really can't cope with the tag. So I feel Jack Steele. It's not the worst because it's only a 19-point difference. And realistically, Sack Butters' first quarter really helped with that score. So Windhager did do the job on him. But end of the day, it's just one of those decisions where you don't really have to think twice. Jack Steele and Sack Butters aren't even on the same level in terms of Supercoach. So it's really a decision I shouldn't have made. And that's the part that really stings. Went down 82 spots to 325. And yeah, it does sting, but look, we'll bounce back. I've got no doubts about it. And last week, what is it? VC Zorko to C Dacos. They both scored the same, so it really didn't make a difference. But yeah, that was my round, mate. How about you?
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. I thought that Zorko was going to junk it up against a a very inaccurate Melbourne, but they played pretty well, and kudos to them. So yeah, Zorko sort of bombed, and I went for that safe one against Dacos, and uh, I've I wouldn't usually do this, but if we had to pick a player of the week for our sides, who was the most important, like sort of best on player, like I think the Fantasy Take TV boys do this, but if I had to pick one, I'd actually probably put Dacos at number one. Like, yes, he only scored 116, but that fourth quarter is the best fourth quarter I've seen from any. And I was looking, I think it was about 68 at 3-quarter time, something just ridiculous. And I thought, look, everyone's captained him, so I shouldn't be too flat about it. But this is a real fail. But he saved his score, and yeah, just vintage Nick Dacos, and yeah, he's unbelievable. So he had one of the great fourth quarters. So I did the exact same thing. Trade wise, so my original trades were going to be Simpkin and Humphreys, but unfortunately, mate, I bailed out on Humphreys because I wanted to save. What my trades were going to involve is getting Simpkin up to Rankin, but obviously you touched on it. Simpkin scores a 68, so his cash gen's a little bit sour, and Rankin just knocked out a 120 like it was nothing. Basically scored. Oh, he had a very quiet sort of second half. I saw he was on 18, a goal at half time, and I was almost crying because I knew it wasn't gonna happen. So I saw that, and then I traded out Humphreys of rolling lockout to save the 20 odd K for a mid forward loophole, Rollinson, whatever his name is. So I went with him. But with my trade plans this week, I'm probably wishing that I had Humphreys as cover. So real big regret. I just couldn't win. So they were my trades, and they both really bombed on me. And yeah, captains and trades were terrible. And yeah, I've got fake primos just everywhere I look. So I think I'll touch on the sort of negatives. So like Martin was really terrible. Matt Rao, like what is going on with Matt Rao? He's the fakest of fake primos, as George says. He is terrible. I mean, I guess it is a bit lucky because, like, if it wasn't going to be Simpkin, it was going to be Kerno. But they both, I suppose, shut the bed a little bit. And then you got Dogger as well, who's just a key forward. So he wouldn't be in my top six for the remainder of the year at all. So I think a lot of real frauds. And another score that really hurt me as well as the pod was Elliot Yeo. And now I really feel sorry for Yoey. I'm not going to, like, it's the one time where I don't care what a player scores because I'm just grateful that he played and he did his best. And yeah, I thought he nutted out the game really well. Started the third really good. But yeah, you give him the benefit of doubt, mate. I'm not going to.
Those that aren't aware, Elliot Yeo's father passed away.
Yeah, he's dad. Yeah, so
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, commiserations to him. And yeah, that's the first time I've ever saw a 60 from a primo and thought, yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But as a result, yeah, it did have a lot to do with that. Well, look at that, mate. I ranked 60K for the week. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Dropped 1.3K. So I'm in a situation right now where you look at my screen, 0 trades left. So like my trade plans this week, we'll talk about it later, but it's now or never. Either I do 2 trades, get myself back in the competition for a top 1K finish, but if carnage happens, particularly long term, it's season over, or I play conservative, hold my trades, but probably drop 500 to 1,000 spots a week in the rank because I've got 4 fake primos. So that's a discussion we'll talk about. But mate, really bad week. Bring back the buys, mate. That's where I played my best Supercoach. So yeah, really not great.
And just very quickly, mate, we'll touch on DR's side as well. So Sam Walsh was probably his big winner. 148, sort of the vindicator, the pick going him over Dawson. You'd say finally, almost, and a good matchup against GWS this week. In terms of other things, Captain Nick Dacos got the Brucey Revel 95 off the bench, which saved having to field Dogger Jackson,
That's unbelievable nice. That he did that.
That's good. That's very good luck. Good. And yeah, got me in one of the league matchups. So really knocking Rankin and Rosie screwed it up that way as well. But, you know, there was just so many spuds throughout the week. Kerno, Houston, Sarong, Fisher, Merritt, LDU as a pod this was the week that it just went bells down. I guess the one shining light, and it came very early in the round. Josh Dunkley with his 143,
I
sort
love
of
him.
vindicating
So
going him over Neil a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully, he can keep this up back-to-back 140s now. So, yeah, let's see how we go. All right, we'll just go very quickly through top of the pot. I'm not going to touch on this too much. Not the greatest weeks for us three. But yeah, I'm sure that we'll all bounce back to get some green arrows this week. Now, Spills, DR isn't here, but can you give us a very short 2-minute rant? Can you just fill in his big boots, and decipher what's going on here?
So, for those of you like looking at this and thinking like, what's going on? DR, he's not about the double 145 game. He's not about it, and I'll give it. I'll be honest. It's not something I've really given too much thought. So this is an interesting rant, but I think he doesn't know what game to watch. Like there's 2 games on at the same time, and more often than not, it's full of players that are super relevant. I mean, both of these sides, both of these games are very relevant. So, and I had a bit of frustration myself because, like, I was watching North Melbourne Western Bulldogs because you know what it's like, mate. We all do.
Yeah,
trying to watch Simkin like a hawk, do something, get involved, mate. But meanwhile, you've got the clutch Freo Dockers hanging on by a thread. When Sydney they finally lost one, so McDonald couldn't capitalise after the siren. But I had to, after the North game, I had to jump on the end. You're jumping from each sort of game, so it is quite frustrating. So I find it a bit unusual. I think it is that I'm going to go to bat for DR and say that the double 145 game is absolutely absurd when there's no football on a Thursday. So you got to wait all week for Friday. Like I'm getting up and about. This may as well be my rant as well because I can't stand not having football on a Thursday night. What do I watch? There's nothing on. Like everything's sort of done. I've watched all the potties. I'm up to speed with everything for the week. Where's the footy? Love going to footy training, coming home, getting out of the shower and watching the second quarter. Nothing better. So why would you not sub out one of these 145 games? So you leave the Sydney Freo one on the Saturday, and then not that you'd have the North Western Bulldogs one on the Thursday, but that's sort of, you take one out for the. I just don't know what's going on here, Janath. The fact that they're after the King's birthday game, absolute rabble. They've gotten rid of the Thursday night. So I think, the double 145, you can't possibly watch 2 games at once. So very frustrating. I can see all the great men.
The other part to this is that not only do they go the double 145, they go the double 7:30 as well. So even at night, you're like, well, why are the games starting at the same time? Stagger them, put them like 15 minutes apart or something. So when one's at halftime, you at least have something to watch, right? You go to halftime, both the games are at halftime, you're like, you got David Zeta talking twice on 2 different channels. You're like,
I can cop the Saturday night one, I think, because usually it's about 20 minutes difference. I know particularly when there's a game in the West, I like when they have, a 7:20 Melbourne game and then like a 10:08 Western game. It was Western Derby or something on Saturday night. I think that always works really well because obviously different time zones. So when you can watch the other game when it's quarter time, half time, but when it's 145 dead, I mean, they literally share the same ad break. I mean, I think they were about a minute apart because of extra time, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, very frustrating. I can definitely see where the great man's coming from. So yeah, that gets me as well. Bring back Thursday night. Who manages the fixtures? Absolutely terrible. They really dropped the ball getting rid of Thursday night.
We could go down a full rabbit hole with this chat, Spills, but let's move on to just very quickly talking about some rookies. I guess just before getting on to the rookies, I just want to touch on. So we'll talk about the rookies. The main question I just want to raise to you, Spills, is do you go a 102k non-playing rookie like a defensive mid Sardell Howley or like a defensive forward Locke Rawlinson, who both have good loophole fixtures, or would you rather pay up the 15k for a player that has more job security like like a Lawson Humphreys, like an Irish Sean Maker. They're both 117k. Even a Logan Evans from Port Adelaide, 102k.
Yeah, I'd rather that.
102.4k defensive. Which way would you lean and how many trades? Because you're not really playing for the cash at this point. You're playing for either job security, so you have them as cover, like in your case, Bills, or player that can help facilitate some loops between lines. Or you could get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, if I had my time again, I'd definitely go Lawson Humphreys in a split second. Like, try to save that 15k was good in theory because I thought maybe there's a slight chance. Again, very team dependent for me. But I think not that you don't want to make money off him. You don't really care about that.
Yeah,
but I think the cover is really good. Like my bench, mate, I've only got Dowling cover at the moment until a few other rookies come back. So I'd love to have a shoal maker or a Humphreys in there and maybe a loophole one of them with Dowling as cover, all for that. But yeah, Humphreys looked really good, and if I had the trades, mate, I'd love to bring him in just as cover, not even for cash gen. So I think we've got enough 102k players. I mean, I think I traded about 3 in. So yeah, I've gone Hutchison, Brown. I can't remember. There's another one as well. But anyway, a lot of obviously Ralston, whatever his name is. So yeah, that's 3 102k. So I'd love to have a little bit more cover than Dowling 50 to sort of 60 range. So to answer your question, mate, in a split second, I'd love to 15, very valuable 15k for cover can go a long way.
Yeah, perfect. And then I guess comparing between the pair, would you rather a defensive cover like an Irish Sean Maker, 117k, has gone 83 and 55 in his 2 games? Or would you rather rely on Lawson Humphreys, 91 against Essendon? I didn't get to watch the game. Could you just give like a short summation of what you saw from him? Were you impressed? How do you feel his job security is?
I think he's got good job security now. Didn't know a thing or two about him. As Shorty would say, I wouldn't know who he was if I'd tripped over him on the street. I mean, seriously, had no idea, but played a seriously good game. I mean, they used him a lot too. Not only did he intercept and rebound, but they seemed to look for him. So it looks like he sort of come in for that Tom Stewart role when Stewart went into the guts. That's sort of what it looked like
really
for me.
Interesting. Yeah,
and really looked the part. And I would much rather have a defender mid rookie like him, even though he's not on the bubble yet, than a shoal maker, because I've got Reed and Dawson stuck at D7 and 8. Terrible. So I think that DPP is really valuable, and I think he'll keep playing as well. Did a lot of good stuff. So they're all really good options, but that DPP, over a Sard type for someone that's playing, can go a really long way, mate.
Beauty. Well, I reckon that sort of helps us. So basic summation there is go early in Lawson Humphreys. You're not really looking for the cash. You're looking for the job security at the moment. And if you're looking for just one rookie, Humphreys with the defensive mid, DPP will be much more useful than Irish Sean Maker will, even if they both play out the season from here. So that's our rookies chat. I think that's as comprehensive as it needs to be.
Don't need much now.
I'll just rack off some of the injuries. So I wrote a couple down here. So just very quickly, Tom De Koning was, unfortunately for some of his owners, well, all his owners, but was a late out. We just managed. He's a test for this week. I expect him to get up. He just been battered a little bit from breaking out in the last month or so. And look, when you got Pitternet in the reserves, just like that, give him a game, rest him up. TDK, and he should be back in this week. The watch will be on whether or not Pitternet holds. If Pitternet holds his role, that was obviously the danger around this pick, but I reckon TDK will be straight in for Pitternet this week whilst we go up against a faster GWS side this week. Alex Pearce is a 1 to 2 week injury, so this may affect Luke Ryan and the role that he plays. Luke Ryan played a really good game on the weekend, and coming up this week against Richmond at Optus Stadium should be a pretty good VCC option. So just one to keep in mind there with regards to Pearce's availability. Darcy Moore has got his second victim from a knee. So Jared Witts has broken vertebrae. So he's got a fractured vertebrae, so part of his back's broken. This is good for Ned Moyle. For those that still have him, it would be good. Yeah. if he held, that's good. But yeah, obviously broken vertebrae. You wouldn't expect him to be back very, very soon. That'll be to be decided. Josh Kelly at the Giants again has done his calf, so he'll be out for 4 to 5 weeks. Does this impact Tom Green? Because we saw that Tom Green played best. Well, he's played the best the last couple of weeks with Josh Kelly in the side. Whether or not that's actually to do with Josh Kelly or Tom Green improving his disposal efficiency and his impact, we'll wait and see. But yeah, it's a big loss for the Giants, especially with them splattering a little bit. And as a Carlton fan, Josh Kelly has always been one of those players. You probably know Spills against Essendon as well. There's always these players that just turn up whenever they play your side. Yeah. Josh Kelly has been so notorious at doing that against Carlton. So, hopefully he has a speedy recovery. James Sicily is a test for this weekend. We all thought that he dislocated his shoulder again. I think he still did, but there's no damage that came up. He won't need surgery, which is great news for Hawks fans. But yeah, does that possibly put question marks over whether or not if he does it again, does he then go for surgery? Just monitor. I think to be safe, I'd probably avoid him for the rest of the season, but we'll just obviously wait and see there. Christian Salem owners, he's a test for this week. So missed last week with a knee injury, should be back this week. And also Zach Fisher had some foot soreness on the weekend. That's why he was subbed out. It wasn't a tactical sub. You're not tactically subbing out your best possession winner in the third quarter. But yeah, that's what happened to Zach Fisher. So he hopefully is right to play this week. Otherwise, we'll have to sort of resort into our 23rd man stocks to cover him there. That's basically the injuries, Spills, the main ones that are sort of Supercoach relevant across the league. Did you have anything that you wanted to add there from any of the points that I made?
I don't think so. With the Kelly one, he usually cops the tag, so I think that's why Green plays a bit better. So interesting. I don't think Carlton are too. I don't think they're too defensive. They literally have Sincotter as a full-blown tagger, but will he go to
I reckon
Tom
Green?
Will
go to Whitfield. He'll go to Whitfield this week.
Yeah, I thought, he's that sort of player. So I think Green should be all right.
If Jordan Boyd gets off, which I'm just going to see and refresh if that's the case. Jordan Boyd got the 1 week suspension. He's a key defensive cog. We're just waiting to see whether or not, if he gets off, then I think Chincotta will still play as a forward. So yeah, we'll see there. Now, the next part's a bit of an exciting segment. We don't really do this very often, but following on from last year, big success. So this year, where Spills and I are going to take it, we're going to predict the best 22. So the best 6 defenders, the best 8 mids, the best 2 rucks, and the best 6 forwards from here, round 17 to round 24. So we've blindly done it, so we don't know what each other have picked. But I guess let's start off in defense, Spills. Your D1, mate.
Yeah, I can't go past. I think there will be tags coming, but I still think Nick Dacos just shown so much this year, and that fourth quarter specialist against the Suns. So don't need to elaborate too much on him.
Cool.
So yeah, he's
I've also got Dacos at D1, but at D2, I think this is where we might start to diverge a bit. I've got Jack Sinclair.
Oh, get out of it! So I'll tell you what, I will be honest. He has elevated. But I wouldn't have had him at 2, but I definitely, with that Marvel run coming up, I think he could do some real damage. So I can see logic.
That's the main reason.
I still have Harry Sheasel there.
I just think Sheasel. Okay.
I do have the Sheasel. So I think just a consistent ball magnet. I don't know if the ceiling scores are really there, but I think you can bank on a 115 every week, and just for average, I still think he's going to be thereabouts. So
where do you have Sinclair?
I've actually got him at 4, mate. So believe it or not, I have acknowledged him. He has made the list, considering how sort of far back he's been, but a crazy 3-round average and benefits from Marvel and playing.
That's the point. We're not looking at
his preferred
average
position.
We're not looking at the average from 1 to 16 anymore. We're looking from 17 to 24.
Exactly,
so I think
right. Yep.
That's why I've gone Sinclair 2. I've got Sheasel at 4, and I've got Luke Ryan at 3.
Yeah, I'll have Ryan at 3 as well. So
awesome.
yep.
So we got the 4. We're just two of them are swapped around. This is where it's going to get interesting, though. D5. I've got Dan Houston. Who do you have?
So do I. I just
You got
think,
Dan Houston.
Yeah, had a howler on the weekend, but you get the big ceiling games as well. And
that's a mulligan.
And mulligan, but definitely, other than that, he's been pretty consistent and like a real reliable top 4 defender. I don't think he'll slide. So,
I guess just one very thing that I've noticed is Dan Houston's, like, you may think that Ryan Burton, when he plays, that he sort of takes away sort of the rebounding role of Houston a little bit. But I think that Burton, who's 2 to 3 weeks away still with the foot injury, really helps Houston in terms of the defensive accountability, so Houston can play off his man a little bit. I think that's something that Houston's had to do a little bit more of, and that's taken away from his building. Also, Kane Farrell is like the biggest seagull in the AFL. Like, if he could get 30 touches a game, he'd be such a Supercoach gun, but he has like 15 to 20 every week, and he's just neither here nor there. So, that's why. But look, just very quickly on Jack Sinclair, I think he does get the James Jordan tag this week, but then it should be a pretty safe run home for
I love him, but 600K now, so he's probably not probably. He's definitely
625, mate.
That's crazy, man. Like I can't believe he's that expensive now. 100% out of reach for me. So, if you're looking for that sort of pod to finish the season and you got the money, he would be number 1 by a country mile. And I think DR will be bringing him in this week. He had him in his plans. He's so filthy on it. So I think you'll make the right call there. But who's your last one? Who's number 6? Who have you got?
Oh, you may not like me for this, but I've gone Lockie Whitfield.
What? Why? Really?
Lockie Whitfield.
Yeah.
Since GWS, so Lockie Whitfield will probably get tagged by Chincotta this week. So this week is probably not going to score overly well. But since Adam Kingsley said that they're going to try to get Whitfield more off the ball, Whitfield is now gone. If you just give me a second, I've just got all this random stuff. Lockie Whitfield has gone in his last, let's say, 3 games. He's gone 117, 105, 134, 108 in his last 4 games. He's got a pretty nice run home. Richmond give up points to defenders. Melbourne give up points to defenders. Brisbane, we see they just miss they got like a 1-to-1 goal to behind ratio, and Bulldogs as well are not overly good in front of goal. I think Whitfield has a good chance of being the D6, but also there's a lot of blanket plays you could throw over here. So, Spills, reveal your D6, and then we'll just chat about who could sort of be a smoky for this position.
Yeah, I do like the Whitfield one. Definitely got the ceiling as well. I've gone for a little bit more sort of consistency, a little bit safe, and perhaps bias as well. I've got Clark in there at D6, but I think D6 it's super even. I reckon there could be 1 point between D6 to D9 when you got like Holmes a bit stiff. I think McGovern is stiff.
McGovern's a big one.
There's other ones as well. So I think from 5 to sort of 8, it's really, really hard. But that top 4 clear cut, it's good to see we're on the same page. Great minds think alike. So I think that's the main thing. But it's a very even plethora of defender options behind there.
Even, I know we'll chat a bit more, but Nick Blakey, Nick Newman's definitely one that's got that ceiling, and is fairly consistent. Bailey Dale as well. He again sort of is a bit more of a yo-yo, but can really deliver good score. And Ed Richards, like, we're talking about so many defenders here. Ed Richards has gone above 115 in 4 of his last 5 games.
CBA's dropped really bad with Libba though, and I think it was about 70% CBAs. I think it was Scobes that tweeted this, and then I think it's about 20 or 30% with Libba back in the side, really impacting him. And I don't know what he scored on the weekend, but I don't think it was all that crash hot. But midfield, mate. Let's move on to the big dogs. These where the real points are.
M1, it's pretty safe to say the Bont, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't say it. Who else? I mean,
the Bont is just in another world of his own. Like, seriously, we paid up for him this year, but he's delivered. Like, he's delivered on his starting price. He's gone below 100 3 times. One of them's 73, but the other 2 are 93, 99. He's gone above 150 in 3 of his last 4. He's gone above 135 in 6 of his last 8. What a filthy animal the Bont is.
Yeah.
Like, he's crazy.
And he's
He's
been
crazy.
like so unfit too. I mean, had gastro.
Every time.
He had
yeah.
carrying an injury.
Back spasms. Jeez.
Doesn't look like it. Oh, he's a freak.
Yeah.
Absolute freak.
He's a freak. Well, I'll put this to you very quickly. Sorry, this is just a segue. I saw this on Twitter before. If you could have one player to win you one game this week, which player in the AFL are you choosing?
In Supercoach or
no, just in IRL. So you're going Bont, Dacos, Cripper, Merritt.
So someone to have in essence team to get us a win this week, or
you need to win this game. Let's say it's the grand final, and you can pick any player from the AFL to be your captain. Who are you picking? Captain and your best player.
I can't go past Bont. I mean, he's a freak.
I think even as a Blues fan, the Bont. If you need a game from him, I'd go the Bont.
It's just nothing he doesn't do. Like what doesn't he do? I mean, he literally clearance base, hits the scoreboard, score assists through the roof, contested possessions. I mean,
it'd be really unfortunate if Bont retires without a Brownlow, because I reckon he's been the best player in the league
twice
for so long, but he's just been stitched up because there's been a player that's been better than him in a singular season every single time. And
I don't even think they've been better. I just think I don't know what's going on with champion data, but I think Bontempelli was clearly the best player in 2021.
Champion data. I reckon the umpires, not champion.
No,
data.
not champion data. Yeah, go on. That's a bit off the charts. I knew you'd pick up on that. Can't get much past you, but yeah, the umpires, they cop a lot of abuse, and particularly on the weekend on Saturday night, but they don't cop it enough Brownlow night because, Neil last year, sorry, DR, but that was an absolute clanger against Bontempelli. But yeah, number 2, Janath.
Let's get back on here. I've got Caleb Sarong. Who do you have?
Yeah, Sarong.
Sarong at 2?
Not having the best patch of football, but he's shown what he can do. Has been really consistent, just lost the ceiling. Didn't score that great on the weekend. I think he can really bounce back, but I just don't see a way that...
Good matchups to come as well. Richmond this week, Melbourne in round 19, West Coast round 20, Geelong round 22. There should be 4+ matchups right there. Yeah,
he's probably... I'm probably looking at him as almost a captaincy option over Ryan this week. Ever since they've played... ever since Longmuir addressed that accountability and defense, stat padding type stuff, I have noticed a little bit of a regression in Clark and Ryan. Still turning up, but that ceiling, you're not getting the 120s from Clark, you're not getting the 160s from Ryan. So, but I think it's the wrong, mate. Just super reliable and just honest as the day is long. I think he's Freo's next captain. Really, he's a masterclass. I love the way he goes about it.
One thing that I'd like to see from Sarong, those up until round 10, he was averaging 130. That average has now dropped to 120. So it's not the worst. You take a 120 average, but he's gone 91, 102, 96, 121, 85 in his last 5. We just need to see that ceiling again. And he was on track on the weekend, and then James Jordan put the clamps on him. So we'll see how he goes. Who's at your M3, mate?
A pretty boring one. I've still got Zach Butters, regardless of what tags are coming up. He showed his brilliance on Sunday against the tag, and Winhager, he'd be my top 2 or 3 best taggers for inside mids in the game at the moment. I mean, the work that he put into Lockie Neal in particular, he's really stepped up his game, and for Butters to get through that, particularly in the first quarter, I mean, unbelievable. So I just can't see a world where Butters sort of drops out of the top 3. So, but now I think it's probably where it gets a little bit more interesting. Right. So looking forward to number 4, mate. What do you got for us?
At M4, this may be a bit of recency bias as well as a little bit of bias for me personally, but I've got Josh Dunkley.
Yeah.
Who do you have?
So do I.
You got Josh Dunkley as well. There we go. I mean, I'm out here trying to justify if I had a take, and he's got the same player.
No, mate, he is Who? Let's get on another tangent. DL will really appreciate
Alright.
this, but who picks the
Okay.
team of the week for SEN? I mean,
Oh,
why is
work,
Josh Dunkley not in there? He's the best
the work
defensive
experience kid.
midfielder, the work experience kid's exactly right. So yeah, Dunkley's an unbelievable player, and he just never gets the recognition he deserves. I mean, his tackle count's always up, contested possessions. He's unbelievable and just really clutch defensively. And I think since Brisbane have been playing good footy and been more accurate, I think he's stepped up a lot. Didn't start the year all that hot, but now he's been unbelievable. I can't see how he drops off now.
His stats, man. Like, this is the thing.
They're
this
huge.
is the exact justification.
Triple doubles every week
as well. It's like the tackle rule is like him suiting him to a T, because like the amount of time players have to get rid of the ball. When you get tackled by Josh Dunkley, they stick. Like, you know how players tackle and the ball spills out or something? When Josh Dunkley tackles you, you just go nowhere. You're like stuck in glue and something.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's
M5?
unbelievable.
M5, mate.
You'll like this one. I've chucked your boy in there, LDU. Despite
I've got LDU at 5 as well.
Oh, get out of it. Yeah.
So we've gone 1 to 5. We're on the same wavelength here, Spilsy.
Great minds, mate. Great minds.
Minds.
I know we didn't see.
Run home, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't the best game from him on the weekend, but the Dogs mids are always a really hard matchup, and he gave it his all, and Simkin decided he wasn't playing footy anymore, and it was literally having LDU put the team on his shoulders. So I love the way he goes about it, mate. Kudos to you for hanging on when he wasn't going well, because he has absolutely rewarded you. And
there are a couple of tough matchups coming up. So Gold Coast
I think he likes
should be
them,
okay.
Yeah.
Sydney and Carlton are two difficult matchups, but then he's got Geelong at Blundstone, Richmond at Marvel, West Coast at Blundstone, back to back to back. And I think that's where he can really capitalise.
Oh, that's going to be so good for you in the finals.
Oh, I hope so. But that's sort of why I think I've got him at M5.
Yep.
At M6, I've got Lockie Neal. Is that the same?
Yeah, it is.
Oh. Wait, I promise.
Well, so it's a really easy list. It's an easy list to pick when you rule out the DPP. Like you obviously got like Heaney and Flares in the midfield, Dacos. Like you get rid of those blokes, and there's some real clear cut ones and like a lot of recency bias, but they still had the runs on the board for this year. And like Neil, when I traded him, mate, before he got tagged, was averaging 117. So total points, he was like not even top 20, but he was 2 games behind everybody else. So when you put in that average, it was really clear cut. So couldn't go past Lockie Neal.
The thing with Neal is that his disposal efficiency is really high this year. Like, I look at it, and he's got, like, compared to Josh Dunkley, he doesn't have the marks and tackles, but then you look at it and you compare the disposal efficiency. No, I can see why Lockie Neal gets close to Dunkley in many regards, in terms of scores, and sometimes he outscores him, because he just goes at a good enough clip where it doesn't turn the ball over, whereas Dunkley sort of kicks it sometimes, that sort of thing. But yeah, got Neal at M6. I reckon we'll have the same M7 here, mate. Saki Merritt?
No, I've got Treloar.
Treloar, interesting.
I do have. I think Treloar is so overlooked this year. Worst score he had this year on the weekend, and by a country mile. He's been so consistent, injury prone as well, but I do listen to Osmeric Aces with Ads and Dunks, and he was saying how a full preseason's really helps him, and it's like he having a year without injuries. He's just so competitive and just such a footy head, and all he wants to do is just put a consistent year on the park. So I think he gets through pretty well. Ultimate professional Adam Treloar, and I think Treloar and Dunkley are so neck and neck in terms of football players. Dunkley obviously a bit better in Supercoach, but they are both just midfield Rolls Royces. So yeah, had to give Adam Treloar a little bit of recognition, I reckon.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Cool. I've got Zach Merritt at M7, and then at M8 I've got Errol Goulden.
You do, yep. I have Zach Merritt at M8. So
at M8,
I don't think he is the player he was last year, annoyingly, but seems to have dropped off a little bit, doesn't rack it up as much, goes forwards, but have been hitting the scoreboard a lot more, which is good. But then, the disposal count sort of dies in the arse a bit which definitely has a negative effect and prone to tags as well. Even though he got through St. Cotter pretty well, still, yeah, I think is I don't know. I'm not going anywhere.
Pretty well as well. That's where I put
Did
him in. But like,
gets through the
I'm
tags.
like, I should have probably just saved that 170k from Rosie. Like, yes, Merritt probably outscores him from here, but it's not 170k worth, and that's just one of those moves you look back on. It's like, it's all right. One of the ones, I'm just going to throw a couple of names out there, Spilsy, to you, just as players that I can see getting into the top 8. Will Day is one of them. I really rate Will Day as a player, and with the run coming up for Hawthorn with Richmond and North Melbourne in the last 2 games especially, I think that he could push into it. And similar with Sam Walsh, and I know you're going to name another Carlton player in here, Spilsy.
I am. Cripper would have been number 9, I think. I know Welsh has been unbelievable, but I think you look at Cripper's eyes, mate, and at the business end of the season, I genuinely think he's someone that can go off tap coming through the last sort of 5-6 weeks. I really think he can come home strong. So yeah, I think if you own Cripper and Welsh, I think you'd be really happy. Pod if you got Cripper, but yeah, Welsh as well. I think both of those two for Carlton, your sake, you'd be really happy with that as well. I think they're going to really come home strong.
And just one other very quick one for those that own Jordan Dawson. The run isn't great, but I still think that he'll be close enough to the top 8 mids from here on out. I just don't think that he splatters 90s every week. He should be somewhat okay. You're just gonna have to bear through some of the tough tags coming up. Brisbane this week, possibly Jared Berry, St Kilda next week, possibly Windhager, but he could go to Rankin. I think Rankin's arguably the more damaging player, especially around stoppages there.
Yeah.
So there's the midfielders. I guess we'll get into the rucks very quickly, Spills, and there's only one
very
word
quickly
to include here. Is it just as simple as Gaundy?
Ruck
1 and Ruck 2?
Yeah, I think English thereabouts, but I think top 2 pretty clear cut. You got the Gaundy combo, like old times, back to 2019. So yeah, I don't even need to elaborate on that at all, mate.
De Conning though, if he plays as a sole ruck, De Conning and Cherry, I think, are the next cabs off the rank. If I could trade out Tim English, honestly, Tristan Cherry and De Conning are both fine.
They look great. They look very good.
Cherry plays the jumper. In fact, this is another tangent, but I think North Melbourne is one of the best young core of leaders that aren't currently captains. I think Charlie Comben, Tristan Cherry, Harry Sheasel, Luke Davies-Uniacke, Nick Larkey all have captaincy potential. And they're not like bad captains by any means. They all have potential because they all play for the jump. And I think that's something that's really important.
They're so loyal.
They are so loyal.
Very, very off topic, but I loved when Larky said, I don't know what podcast it was or what radio station it was, but he said he's had offers coming out from other clubs that are going to pay him a lot of money, but he doesn't want to go. He actually sort of threw Tom Lynch under the bus. He said, I didn't want to really do what Tom Lynch did and go to Richmond and walk into a grand final. I want to stay at a team that's struggling. And then when we do come good and win a grand final, it would feel a lot better. So I think North Melbourne in 6 to 8 years could be an absolute powerhouse, mate. And like they could definitely, with the leaders that they've got, as you just alluded to, they could definitely be a really great side. So yeah, chin up to all the North supporters. Forward line, Janath. This will be.
I think this will be super easy.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
But do we want to just rack off the 6 of them?
Let me make a call here. I reckon we're going to have the same top 6, but I think the order is going to be different.
Okay. All right. So, we'll start from F1 because I've substituted my F1 because he's now playing a different role. And I've gone
piece of piss, isn't it?
Sam Flanders, F1. Because
I have to. Yeah.
This man is just putting up tons week on week. He hasn't gone below the ton this year yet, which is crazy.
He's crazy.
He is unreal. He scored 114 on the weekend. In fact, he's only gone below 110 3 times. That's ridiculous.
That's off its head. I think I'm going to VC him this week into Bont. We'll talk about that later, but he's someone I'm considering. Just like, why wouldn't you? He's so consistent. He does it every single week. So yeah.
Flanders F1, Heaney F2.
I have Zorko for the role.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
I think Heaney did a lot of his best work at the start of the season, and
Yeah.
still really cooking at F2. But I think there will be games like he had on the weekend where he will be exposed. There'll be those ceiling games as well, but I don't think he's as like clear cut. Where I
That's
think
fair.
Zorko is just going to stat pad every single week, and like
That's
he's
fair.
just good for.
Yeah.
But I think Zorko will have him for total points. So I've just got Heaney at 3. So bit different to you, mate.
No, fair enough.
But I can
I've got
see why.
Heaney 2, Zorko 3, Rankin 4.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah. Oh, he's a freak.
Rankin
So
4. He's
yeah,
a freak. Especially the fact that GWS didn't pay attention to him around stoppages inside 50 is just an absolute abomination, because he's probably the
yeah,
best
it's bad.
forward 50 threat in the league, let alone at the club. So, yeah.
Yep.
Number 5, I've got Caldwell. Your boy, Jai Caldwell.
Golden Square's very own. I've got him there too as well, mate. At deep,
Very nice.
F5. I really like what he's doing. I think we've spent a lot of this season wondering who that third mid is. We've obviously got like Merritt and Durham in there. Basically, they're the highest CBAs, but then a lot of them sort of chop out here and there. It's that spot's up for grabs, and I think Caldwell is the one that's put his hand on that third spot and said, "That's mine. This is going to be my spot." And yeah, when he was the only one that I noticed last week that showed some real fight when the going was really tough. When we dropped the intensity in the second half, the only person that was playing good footy that I noticed was Jai Caldwell. So I can't see how he's not.
CBAs on the weekend as well.
They should be
really good role. Yeah.
So they should be. He's earned it. So yeah, if you want to bring him in, I definitely advise
I'm
it.
contemplating sidewaysing Steele to Caldwell this week to open up the possibility to open up the looping possibilities. But
that could be a filthy
I don't know
trade.
if it feels very sideways, but we'll chat a bit more later on. Jack Steele just isn't the top 8 mid that we hoped he is. I watched him very closely on the weekend, and he's very lethargic around the ground.
Yeah, I think as a player, you'd probably almost lean towards Steele, but when you got top of their line, I think Caldwell on the forward line presents a lot more value than Steele in your midfield. So,
and I'd rather, Spills, the question here is, like, I don't want to be in the dilemma where I have to choose between Butters and Steele. I'd rather choose between, for instance, Kerno, a high ceiling, semi-low floor player, and a Simpkin, and have Caldwell at F5.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean when I'm just like toying up whether to change up these loopholes here, because I made a mistake last week and I want to rectify it without sort of burning the rest of my team. And F6 is the slippery fish, Saki Fisher.
No, I've got more there, mate. I've got George's boy, Dylan Moore. Having a
Ross's boy.
I think Fisher's Ross as well too. Yep, shout out to Ross. So I think Moore has put together a very good season. Very up and down, but when he's up, he is. And I noticed the down scores aren't as bad as they used to be. So I like Moore. I think he's definitely a roller coaster, but it's not a big roller coaster. They're not significant ups and downs there. You know, you do get your 130 pluses from like we saw on the weekend, but his floor scores, they're not too bad. You don't get as many of those sixes you did in the past, where I think Fisher's probably a bit more consistent. I think he's a boring 90s, mid-90s guy, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I'll probably a bit more. Okay. Probably doing him a bit stiff there. But I don't know. I think there are floor games with Fisher. Like, this is just always something that comes up, whether the game style is played a bit differently, whether he's carrying something sort of minor, where I think a little bit more reliable. So I'd have Fisher at 7, but it wouldn't be by much, that's for sure. I just want to give Dylan Moore the recognition he deserves, because he spoke really well on Worldwide Sports Potty a couple of weeks ago. He definitely could be a Hawthorn captain. So yeah, I love the way he goes about it. He has
captaincy written all over him, mate.
He does, mate. Sure. 100%. So very similar, I think. Yeah, a few different.
We did pretty well, mate.
Yep.
We did pretty well.
I like
And I
it.
guess
I like to
now
see
is
DRs as well if he did one, but I think it'd be very similar to how
yeah,
we did our power rankings.
I think we did pretty well there, mate. Let's now head on into probably the segment that everyone's waiting for, isn't it? The mailbag, where we answer all your questions.
Yeah.
So this week we got a fair few questions to get through, Spill. So we'll just run through these as quick as possible. We'll start with Chris Dran. So we'll just keep this very synced, Spillsy. Last spot to finish my team, lads. Going for rank. Do I take the risk and bring in rank or stick with Zorko? Who scores more for the remainder of the season? I wouldn't trade out Zorko for Rankin if that's the question that you're asking. You'd stick with Zorko, mate? Spillsy? Okay, may have lost Bills there, but yeah, I would stick with Rankin, mate. I'd stick with Zorko, mate. As we were talking about before, Spills has got Zorko as his F2. I've got Zorko as my F3 for the remainder of the season. When are you lads okay with sideways in primers if you're down to 3 trades? Round 21 is my thoughts. Would love to know what you'll think. I think if you're down to 3 trades, I'd probably give it another week or two. 3 trades, if you go down 3 trades, that'll leave you 2. Probably would be good enough to last you 3 to 4 weeks. So in that respect, I would say, yeah, probably round 21, round 20, mate. But it even if you had to spend one now to get to get a primo up, and you've got the cash, I wouldn't mind doing it now, but I definitely wouldn't go down past 2 trades until around round 21. That's for sure. Thanks, mate. Spills, you're back. All right.
I'm back.
Hello.
Apologies, mate.
That's okay.
But
We're
how
up
many
to Fan Sports' question here.
we got many? Have we got many there? How many questions we got tonight?
We got 25 questions or 28 questions. We'll just have to rack through these. Fan Sports, trade Fisher to Rankin, 3 injury trades in 1 trade, or Sexton to Rankin using 2 trades. If you were to get to Rankin, I'd rather do it. Oh, that's a tough one. Is this as your F6 or as your F7? If it's your F6, I'd rather get there. I assume that means you have 2 injury trades left. I'd rather get through Sexton because I think Fisher is a better pick long term and he should still be a top 6 forward. Do you agree there, Spills?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't trade Fisher very sidewaysy, like as we spoke about literally 3 minutes ago. Probably looking at possibly top 6 forward for the rest of the year. So I wouldn't. I'd definitely get Sexton to him with 2 trades. That's what they're there for. And two injury trades is fine. I wish I had that. So
have 4 trades left. Want to use 1 to trade Jackson to Caldwell? Is it worth it? Just outside top 1%. If the ruck cover, if you don't need the ruck cover right now, or if you got like a Kruger type, I'd go Jackson to Caldwell.
Yeah, I agree. I would too. And even without it, if you've got the trades left in the bank, just make sure you save yourself 1 or 2 for the business end of the year, just in case you do cop a ruck injury. But with where you're at the moment, if I could, I would definitely. I'd love to trade Jackson to Caldwell. Go through with that, my man. I like it.
Awesome. Beggsy's the next question. So he wants to upgrade Sexton. He's already got Dacos, Sheasel, Ryan, Houston, Martin. He can't afford Sinclair in 1 trade. I would say here, based off my rankings, I'd say Lockie Whitfield. Spills, you had Jordan Clark. So I reckon, is it simple as deciding between Whitfield and Clark here?
I think so. Both pretty. Depends who Begsy agrees with on our segment that we did before. I'm gonna go ahead and say Clark, and you're gonna go ahead and say Whitfield. So
I'll say Whitfield.
Yeah, see how you go.
Here's another legend, Harry. G'day, lads. Hope you're well. Sexton to Caldwell or more in 1 trade or Rankin in 2 trades. Cheers, boys. I'd go Sexton to Caldwell in 1. What would you do, mate?
Oh, depends how many trades you got left. I mean,
that's a good point. Yep.
I'm about to use my last, so I'm picking Rankin over Caldwell for the rest of the year. But at the moment, if you had more trades, you could get Rankin, who's still got a pretty high break even. I'd probably get Caldwell this week if you could plan for Rankin next week or the following. Does have Brisbane at the Gabba.
If it's one or the other, Spills, if you can only get one.
Oh, it's tough because Rankin's playing at the Gabba this week. Still got a 115 break even. So this week I'm getting Caldwell, but team dependent. I'm not getting Caldwell. I'm getting Rankin because I'm done. So
Rankin did go
finishes the high.
142. He scored 142 at Adelaide Oval
That's a good
against
point
Brisbane.
too.
So
That's a good point.
It's a good one, but at the same time, if you don't have 4 trades, so if you're going from 4 to 3, or if you're going 4 to 2, I don't mind rank. But if you're going 3 to 2 or 3 to 1, I definitely wouldn't go down past 2 trades to get Isaac Rankin in, mate.
Yeah.
Even though Spills is doing so, but it looks like I
Different-
can't convince
different-
him.
Yeah, it's a different
situation. Different perspectives there. Yeah, exactly.
I've got 5 frauds in my side, so I've got to do something.
5 frauds.
I do.
Ange. Hey, legends. Hey, Ange. I've traded out Warner. I assume that's Chad Warner to move Dacos into the midfield and grab Sinclair. Love it. Need the def mid. Leaving 2 trades left and no 23rd. Do you have rookie cover on the bench? Sick of Warner.
Could be
thoughts.
the other
Low
Warner.
breaking with Jordan Tag. Nah, I think it is. I think it is Chad Warner. You wouldn't be sick of Corey Warner or Carl Warner.
Carl Warner. I thought she was looking at that sort of defender mid DPP's sort of. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I think Ange wants Sinclair, and honestly, I've got Sinclair as my D2 as long as he can stomach the possible Jordan Tag this week. There's no real other players in that St Kilda team that I think are sort of worth tagging. But yeah, I would probably go Sinclair this week and move off Chad Warner, because even when he is playing well, we were talking about this Bills when we were he's such an impact player, but he just gets tagged every week because he is so, and he's probably the biggest butcher out of the 3 Swans key mids.
Yeah,
out of
I think scoring
Golden.
3 or 4 goals from a 140 is a huge red flag, because you cancel out those goals. What's he really doing? Like high impact player, lower possession mid. So when he's cold, he's really cold. May as well have a key forward there. So yeah.
Awesome. Shadow Minister. Hello, mate. I'm a league player with 1 forward to upgrade, 7 trades left, so work itself out. At this stage, the VC captain loop will make or break. I sort of understand, but I messed up a few times. Can you give me a refresher? You know what, Rod? I'll link you a video to this, mate. But basically, the premise of it is, if you have a VC and a C, typically, if your VC, you want them to play before your captain does. That way, you can put the blue VC on one of your players. If they score about 125 to 130, then what you can do is, if you have a non-playing player, for instance, like a Cohen Livingston from West Coast, Asad El Hawaii, or Locke Rollinson, you can put them on your field. You can chuck the captaincy on them, and that means that you get double whatever your VC has scored. So that's the premise there. There's 2 main principles here. Your VC has to play before your C, and your non-playing player has to play after your VC, but before your captain. So that's basically the idea there, mate. All the best. Causa. Hey, legends. Is it the ladies' man?
He's a ladies' man. Welcome. What do we got
Is
here?
it worth going Clark to Humphreys this week and get my last premium in a few weeks with 4 trades left?
Yes.
Well done, DR, for beating me in the league, members league. Houston cost me the wins. Costed a lot of us the win, mate. It's going for leagues. Want to win my league. Would you go Clark to Humphreys this week, then someone to a final premium?
Yeah, I assume so. 100%. Humphreys, he's the guy.
I'd get Humphreys. But you could almost wait to do that trade next week, can't you? I mean, if he doesn't need the cover this week, I don't think.
Has he got a completed team? Has he got a completed side yet? Maybe he needs to upgrade.
He's got 1 more player, but I wouldn't be fielding Humphreys anyway.
No, but if it helps him upgrade to his final primo.
Yes, but what I mean, Spills here, is that Causa is not finishing. He's getting his final upgrade in a few weeks.
So
he doesn't need to downgrade this week. He can wait.
Oh yeah, you could probably
1
wait.
or 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
You could probably wait for next week to get Humphreys, I'd say, mate.
Yeah. No, I'm with you now.
That's what I feel.
If you can wait, if you're in a position where you can wait, then do it. But like, if you need someone to go down to, he'd be number 1 by a long shot.
Yeah.
So
that's what I think, mate. Okay. The next question. Thank you, mate. Logan Jennings. Hey, mate. Hey, go the Blues. Hey lads, what are your thoughts on Nick Newman as a pod? Went on that massive run
I'll
post
stay
by
out of
last
it.
year, and we have some nice fixtures for designated kickers coming up. Look, Logan, I know as a Blues fan, mate, we're flying at the moment. Nick Newman's one of those players where he won't rack up a ton of possessions, but every possession he does rack up, he hits a teammate with the target. Look, I really like the pick. We've sort of got a fully fledged backline now, and I can't really see any changes happening to his role as well. So if you want to get on Nick Newman with the DFS run for designated kickers coming up that you mentioned, totally fine with me, mate. Spills, quick yes, no.
I won't elaborate too much. You're the Blues man,
Happy with
but I
it?
think when we look at our defensive list from before, I think those other guys that we sort of mentioned are probably the priority. So if you want a real pod, I think he's around the
pod
mark.
is a pod for a reason. Yeah,
I wouldn't.
they're
I
really
wouldn't
for that lone
myself.
wolf.
I'd rather pay up for Sinclair or pick a Clark or Whitfield type like that value. So yeah, I'd probably lean towards that. So it's a no for me.
Great work, mate. And here's Andrew Vracek. Hopefully I said your name right there, mate. He's got no question for us this week because his team's complete with the Sexton to rank and upgrade last week. Well done, mate. Glad you went through with that trade. I wish I listened to my own advice. But he says, thank you for all your help this season. No worries, mate. I really appreciate you tuning in week in, week out.
Mate. No, it's great getting feedback like that.
We still got some good content coming up. Jacob, hello, mate. I have 3 trades left. I have 22 players and can't get a 23rd. Which move is better? Here we go, Spills. He's taken out Nick Martin, and Matty Rowell, and he's either going to bring in Rosie and Sinclair or Ridley and Miller. Please do not do that second trade. They are 2 of the worst players to watch.
I agree. Yeah, you don't want those two.
Do not. Tuke Miller was
Rosie and Sinclair.
on the weekend. He's not getting CBAs. Ridley's playing accountable, even though it makes all the sense in the world to play as an interceptor. Rosie and Sinclair all the way, mate.
Can I just stay on this question? With 3 trades left and like you have a 22nd player, maybe you have that 1 trade left for absolute emergencies, which is 1 trade that I wish I had for the rest of the year. Does it get better than Martin and Rowell to Rosie and Sinclair? Can you get better than that in terms of when you look at value and what's up for the next 8 weeks? I don't think when you look at Rosie's price and then Sinclair's Marvel run, I don't think you can do better. Like they're banger trades, 100%.
Really trades,
yep.
Sorry, there we go. Thanks, Jacob. CR7. I'm a Rowell owner and I'm sick of watching him. As I only have 45k in the bank, do I trade him to Ed Richards to loop with Nick Martin, Cripper, or Jordan Dawson? He's currently ranked 300 and not playing for leagues. Cheers, legends. So he's playing for rank. Who scores the most points from here on in? Ed Richards, Cripper, or Jordan Dawson?
I'm going Cripper, I think. I had him pretty close to M9 for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
I like him. If you can get him. Richards, heavily impacted with Liberatore. Martin, he's a bit of an everywhere sort of man. Not good for Supercoach, and I couldn't really tell much about Dawson. Not a player I've really monitored or given any thought this year, but what I do know about Cripper is I think he's got finals written all over him, and as that business end of the year comes, I think he'll be probably the better scorer, so he'd be the one that I go with out of the list. If you don't have Rosie, I'd probably rather Rosie for his price, but I'm assuming you might already have him at this stage. But yeah,
honestly, CR7, I like where Spills is going, but I don't hate the Ed Richards pick. I think Ed Richards being severely underrated as a pick. Dawson's probably got tags coming up the next 2 weeks. Even with Crip, he had 41 disposals against Geelong and he didn't ton up. Like he's playing, Spills all the points he raised about him being like a jet, which I think he's playing better than his Brownlow season is. And I watch him as close as anything as a Blues supporter.
I agree.
Like he's probably playing better than his Brownlow season, but even in his Brownlow season, he wasn't a top 8 midfield, I don't think. So I think the fact is that even though he's so good in real life, I just don't think that it translates as well as to Supercoach, because a lot of the intangible stuff that he doesn't really come up. So I think for that reason, I'd probably go for Ed Richards if it allows you to loop with Nick Martin. But I'd go in that order: Richards, Cripper, Dawson. Dawson's just those tags coming up, and the risk that he plays forward just errs me off him as CR7, mate.
Yep.
Cool. Clinton, what to do with Rail? Hold, fader, offload, 4 trades left, 100k in the bank. Spielsy, I'm going to handball this over to you. I'll tell you Rail's price so you can know how much he has to work with.
He's 497.
He's got 597k to work with. Who are you looking for at that 600 range?
Give me a sec. I'm gonna have a real quick look, but I'll just say straight off the bat, anyone. Get him out. What is he? What is Matt Rao at the moment? We discussed him earlier, but so what's he got again? 5.
He's got 597k to play with.
Oh, this is easy now. I've looked at the price. Bring in Josh Dunkley, mate. I don't think you look back.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Josh Dunkley. There is Welsh as well. A bit more injury prone, I think, but Dunkley's defensive stuff this year has been incredible, particularly as soon as Brisbane started competing, as I alluded to earlier in the potty, his scoring went up. And I don't see Brisbane going down. I don't see Dunkley going down. Dunkley, Rowder, Dunkley off one trade and keep your 3 trades for emergencies and never look back and add Rowder to your never again list as well, just to source it up a little bit. If I could get Rowder, Dunkley, I'd love to do that. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
What about yourself, Janath?
Yep, I love the Dunkley pick, mate. Let's speed through these little next ones. Is Rankin worth the price?
Yes.
I made this mistake last week. Yes, because he's the F4 from here on in, I reckon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Watermelon Cruiser. We love the name. 6 trades left, 523rd man. Use 2 trades to turn Caldwell, 3 to Rankin/Sinclair, or hold trades to injury chaos. Oh, do you go 2 trades to Caldwell? Is it worth it? 5 to Caldwell with 2 trades?
Yeah, if you got 6 trades left, yeah, why not? I mean, it helps you. You probably get the top 6 forward.
Much better than Fife?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
Like Fife, he's a tagger now, and like still terrible by foot. I think the scoring's going out the window. If I never had Fife this year, but if I did, he wouldn't be in my side at this point because he's basically his starting price almost. Where Caldwell's on the up, easy one for me.
Fair enough. I like that, mate. Simon, hello, mate. 7 trades left. Fife at F6. Turn him into Rankin using Revel, or keep him as a 23rd and get Caldwell Simpkin. Get Rankin, mate.
First one easily.
That's a.
We've all got Simpkin, and you don't want him. He belongs in the bin, mate. He's not.
Off those 3,
side.
Rankin, Caldwell, big space, Simpkin. Don't fall for the mistake that we all fell for.
Yeah.
Trues 3434, 3,434. Hey lads, trade Joe Richards to Walsh or trade Sexton to Neil? Tough one. Joe Richards probably going to drop cash, so I'd go him to Walsh. I actually don't mind Sam Walsh against Lockie Neal.
I trade Joe Richards to Dunkley.
I don't think you'll have the money because Dunkley and Walsh is 33k difference there. And Joe Richards isn't that.
I thought they were like
easy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Welsh I think is fine. Sexton's pretty good cover and I agree.
Sounds good, mate. All right, VT 1988. Have 5 trades left. Would you use 2 to upgrade Sexton to Dunkley Goulden or use 1 for Rosie? Ooh, that's a good question.
Great question.
Good complete team. Oh, that's tough.
I would
to complete the team.
What I would do, Janath, with 5 trades, I'm pretty aggressive, so you might disagree with me, but I'd go Rosie this week. And if you've got if you've got some room to work with, target probably Dunkley. I'd go Dunkley over Goulden the following week and have Rosie as your 23rd and keep 2 or 3 trades left for the rest of the season. Yeah. Even
I like it.
I think so. Like Rosie this week, just because of his price, 35 break even. It's kind of like now or never for him.
Awesome. I agree with that. But this week I'd probably use. Depends how the bench cover's looking. I don't mind using 2 to upgrade Sexton to Dunkley. I think Dunkley, as we mentioned, we both have him as our M4 for the rest of the season. Rosie should also be close enough to top 8 mid that he shouldn't. The top 8 to 10 mid that he shouldn't be of too much detriment to your team there. Maxi, who's the best rookie to bring in this week? We made that decision before. I think Lawson, Humphreys, and then Irish Shonmaker. Humphreys' DPP sort of helps with that decision there. Thank you. Angry Chihuahua. Hey guys, if you can make one sideways trade this week, who would it be? I'm a bit frustrated with Jackson and looking to moving on for Caldwell or someone else. Thoughts?
That's fine. If you got the trades,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it with, if you have less than 3 trades, I probably wouldn't do that. But if you do, if you got more, that's fine. Just make sure you cover your ass in your ruck situation. If you've got to make sure you got a Kruger type or bank yourself an extra trade just in case the ruck does go down and you can fix it up. But other than that, I can see your frustration. I own him too, and it sucks. But good DPP, so it's a tough one.
No, agreed. Love it. Aaron Richards. G'day, guys. Love your work. 5 trades. Who would you go for with the final 4 to upgrade? Kerno in 1 trade or Rankin, Caldwell more with 2 trades? I'd go Rankin in 2 trades. Finish off with 3 trades left. What do you reckon, mate?
That's pretty easy for me. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Yeah, Rankin for sure. Yep.
Awesome. We're almost done, mate, with this. We might finish the mailbag for the first time. Ben Gibbs.
Far out.
Hey, lads. Hope all is well and love the potty. You won't believe what happened to me. Oh, here we go. We got a story here. What happened to me after the Brizzy game this week? After the game, I managed to get signed Bruce Revel boots. Jeez. But then, unfortunately, on the train home, someone stole them off me.
They stole them?
They stole them?
Why would they steal?
All right,
why would they steal them off you?
He knows Brucey Revel personally, so we'll try to get.
We're going to dissect this.
We're going to try to get you in touch with Brucey, mate, to get those boots back for you, mate.
Probably get a pair of boots back. Yeah, we'll spread the word there. That's not what we want to see.
Diaz the right person. In fact, what I'm going to do here, mate, is I'm just going to tag Supercoach with DR in it as well, and I'll also tag the Brisbane Lions for you, mate. Sorry, this might
Supercoach with DR help
Brisbane.
Help this man.
Help this man. There we go. Bang.
Brizzy are pretty good with their socials as well, so they'll definitely see that. So I think you get his boots back.
Hey, legends, from Steve. Do I backflip on Ridley and turn him plus Martin into Sinclair plus Colby? Not on Colby. I wouldn't go Colby this week. He's been out for so long, and they keep nursing him back in. Who knows? He may even be the sub the week you bring him. I wouldn't get rid of Ridley and Martin for Sinclair and Colby. I feel like
too aggressive.
Sinclair's an upgrade, but Colby, that's not really an upgrade there, I don't think, straight up. What do you think, Spills?
No, I agree with that. I'd probably...
Do you reckon they bounce back, Ridley and Martin?
I think Ridley will find a bit more consistency. Those 2 spike games when we first they come out of the blue. There's no way he's going to consistently do that. Nick Martin, I think, will be pretty consistent. I think because he can play anywhere. He's still damaging wherever he goes. So I think you're definitely going to get his floor games. We get good games from him as well. So I think Martin's fine to hold. Let's put it this way, mate. I would much rather trade Matt Rowell over Nick Martin. So take that with a grain of salt.
Matt Rowell over Nick Martin. I like it.
Yep.
Great work.
I would.
Cool. We've only 3 more questions now, I think. Mediocre Supercoach. Oh, I hope your team's not mediocre, mate. Hey, legends, love your work. 5 trades going into this week thinking either, here we go, Sexton and Jai Clark to Rankin and Humphreys. Kruger and Biggie forward bench. I like it. So that's 3 trades left. Sexton and Biggie to Rankin and Humphreys with Dowling forward. I don't mind that. Sexton straight to Caldwell. Hold Sexton. I like to get Rankin in and Humphreys. Now, whether you get rid of Biggie or Jai Clark, does Biggie have DPP?
I'm going to go number 2. Oh.
I think, does he have? No, he doesn't. Yeah, I'd get rid of Biggie, mate. I think Jai Clark's playing. He's probably going to hold his spot in the Geelong team because they don't like to drop him. They don't drop him. Whatever he does, he can have 5 touches and they won't drop him.
No, you'll play. Yeah.
Number 2. I like it. Cool. Yep. And Dowling's pretty good there as well.
That's it.
Cool end.
2 more.
Oh, we got a couple there, so we'll get through them. Hey, lads. Hope we all doing well in the freezing weather. I have Simpkin and 2 trades left. Would you hold him or upgrade to Caldwell, leaving Sexy Man as my 23rd? Basically, Simpkin to Caldwell and have 1 trade left. Would you do it?
I like it. I mean, how many one trade left?
1 trade left. Oh, it's risky.
Can I just put it this way? What am I doing this week, Janath? I'm going Rankin and Rosie, and I'm going to have 0 trade. So I'm fine with that. I mean, Sexton's great cover. Perfect cover. They're really good trades. I think 1 trade for absolute carnage, and then having Sexton as that short-term cover, that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine.
The thing I love most about Caldwell's game is the last 4 games he's had 10 tackles, 8 tackles, 11 tackles, 12 tackles.
Oh, that's magnificent, isn't it?
You compare that with someone like Jack Steele. I'm not blasting Jack Steele, but for someone that you assume is a big tackler, 15 against West Coast, then he's gone 8, 5, and 2. You're not going to score well when you have 2 tackles in a game.
Yep.
Like, especially as Jack Steele. That's it. Yeah, I'd go Caldwell, mate. Leave 1 trade, but again, it's just something just keep in mind there. John, hey boys, which option is best? Trade out Freya for Caldwell, mean 5 becomes a 23rd. Trade out 5 for Rankin, mean I do not have a 23rd. 5 for Rankin, mate. Fraser is a perfectly fine 23rd, or not premium, but a 23rd cover because he's playing really well at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Bevo really likes him as a player.
Yep.
And then the final question here from Carl. We finished.
Probable spam. This is
we did it. That's not nice.
That's a bit stiff.
That's stiff. G'day, boys. What would you do? Rail down to Rosie and free up a little cash and go Richards to Rankin, or keep Rail and hope he finds form and go Richards to Caldwell?
First one, easy. Yeah.
5 trades, 5. So it's
do it.
Down to 3 with Rankin, or down to 4 with Caldwell.
I would have done that like as soon as the app loaded at 11 o'clock on Sunday night or whatever. 100% easy as. Yeah. I mean, you bank the
Rail
money.
And you get Rosie and Rankin sounds very good, mate.
They are
do it as well.
Great trades.
And then you still got 240k in the bank. Yeah.
That's madness. 3 trades for the rest of the year. Great spot to be in. I wish I was in that spot too. So.
And he's already Carr has already got Lawson Humphreys there as well. So good bench cover there. Yeah. That's brilliant.
Absolutely laughing. So yeah, can't go wrong with that. That's
a very similar team.
That's a good team. That's a really good team.
Great team, mate. Spills.
Good one.
We did it.
We did.
We finished the mailbag, which feels like an accomplishment because we have so many questions every week. So hopefully you guys appreciated that, even if it was a bit of a speed run, but we got there. And we're just going to finish off with our trades and captains. So look, there's plenty across the board. I think DR thinks he's got 6 trades this week. We'll start with you, Spill. So you're just going all out, all in, poker,
I have to.
chips in.
If I don't, I mean, so I have Rao and Simpkin, but I also have, obviously we touched on it, I've also got Jackson, still got Tom Green, who hasn't been in the best form, picking it up now, like Nick Martin. There's so many flaws. And with the completed side, everyone else is just going to keep overtaking me each week. So I could be conservative and all of a sudden I'm at 15K and I've 2 trades left, or I put all my chips on the table, Roseanne Rankin, to where Martin will become my worst player, which is fine. And I think I'll bolt up the ranks, but very vulnerable to injury. I'd be happy to have Dowling for cover for 2 weeks if I had to. I think I can cop that. I think I'll gain more points in the long run doing that anyway. But yeah, if we get a long-term injury, if anyone is out for the rest of the season, we're in real trouble. But then I reflect on the lessons learnt, and there are 3 really big lessons that I won't really go into too much because I'll ramble on a fair bit. But I did discuss them. But yeah, just sticking to your starting side, just not sideways trading and paying up. All those sort of key points we learn. So this is my last crack at it, Janath. This is sort of, I think this can pay off. If I don't get any carnage, this could be a top 1K side. Like, it's a really good side, but it's extremely vulnerable. But if I don't do these trades, it'll be 1K next week, another 1K, 1.5, whatever. I will be seeing red arrows for probably the rest of the year, which is not what we want. So.
Fair enough.
I don't want to do it, but I think I have to, mate. I don't think I've got a choice, to be honest. And 34K as well. I think I'm breaking even. I can't do this next week because Rao will drop money. Rosie will go up. So, yeah, now or never. I don't know.
All good, brother. And I guess one just thing in DR situation, we'll answer this as if it's a question, mate. Would you go Brucey and Sexton? He's got Rawlins in all 3 trades. Would you go Sinclair, Rankin, or Caldwell in this week? And I think DR would go down to 2 trades regardless. So
Yeah,
he's
2 trades. Yeah.
so who would you go if you've got 2 trades left? Now, if I'm just doing the maths, I've just done the maths there. If he goes Caldwell, he would have 150k left over with the 2 trades. If he does the second set of trades, he'd have 75k, and if he does the first set of trades, he'd have 28k in the bank.
Oh, I think I really like Caldwell, but Rankin's F4. Hard to go
Rankin's
past.
F4. I've got Sinclair D2. So it really depends.
As well.
I think
there's that one.
If DR, I can't remember DR's team exactly. I might just have a quick gaze at it to see what DR exactly needs. Does he need a forward? Because if he does
very
need
similar
a forward,
to mine. It's very similar. There's nothing like we both got that.
You know what, mate? Because DR has Jackson there, I reckon I'd rather go Rankin or Caldwell instead.
That's
and
right.
Rankin,
Yeah.
Rankin.
He's got. I know he bought in Simpkin, and I know he's got Jackson. So it's. I think he's a bit exposed in the forward line. That's why I'm so urgent to get Rankin in my side. I can't not do it because I'm going to fail miserably. Like I gotta do. There's gonna be some sort of point of difference. I like Sinclair. I really do, but I think that's why I said Rankin because I know what his structure's like, and I think his defense is fine.
Yeah.
Like his midfield is fine, but myself and DR, I think we share the same forward line, and I can tell you it's not fine. It sucks. It's so hard to watch. It's the hardest watch. Well,
man.
it is. It's bad. It's a
enough.
bad forward line. Like Simpkin and Dogger, they're bad watches. I hate owning both of them. Dogger's justified with DPP, and I think he's got the good games in him where. Like Simpkin, I was only the break even, so I'll probably go Rankin, but back your gut, man. I know he's really hot on Caldwell, and he wanted him last week. He sort of pulled out of it. So if Caldwell's that much of a selection on your mind, and you want to pick him as a Dons man, go for it. He's definitely our third best midfielder at the moment. Maybe overtaking Durham, to be honest. So yeah, I like either of Caldwell and Rankin. I don't think you can go too badly wrong with either, but I do think Rankin's probably leading the chart just.
I like it, mate. And as you see there's no trades proposed for this week.
Just a white screen.
With 4.
That's what you get when you're in the top 300. You can have these sort of, I don't mind this week. I'm just going to do whatever.
I'm not in the top 300 spills. I'm in the top 350.
It's
top 325.
Hey, it starts with a 3, all right?
It starts with a 3. Oh, jeez.
Still off its head.
But yeah,
loves it.
Look, if I do make a trade, it'll probably be Jack Steele to Jai Caldwell. We'll see how we go. But let's finish up with some captains. I don't have the standard graph that we have, but I've got some names for you, Spilsy. I'm just going to run through them very quickly. So, Zach Merritt, bounce back game against Collingwood, arch rivals on Friday Night Lights. Can Essendon stamp themselves as a contender? Entering in the same heavyweight title match, we got Nick Dacos on the other side. Nick Dacos, obviously, as we know, he's gone 116 against Gold Coast, but before that, 129 against North, 156 against the Dogs. A real big game player. So I think they're pretty safe as VC options, but honestly, can you go past Marcus Bontempelli on the Saturday afternoon against Port Adelaide? 145 game against Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. In the form he's in, he's gone, as we said before, 8 of his last 10 games, so it was 8 of his last 10 or 6 of his last 8 have been above 135, which is just ridiculous. Like, he's just insane. And following that up on sort of, you could say, on the Saturday night, we got the Optus Stadium. At Optus Stadium, we got the Freo boys. So Luke Ryan, Caleb Sarong going up against Richmond. Richmond's a really good matchup for the intercepting types like Luke Ryan. We saw what Nick Newman did, 150 on the weekend, playing against Richmond in that designated kicker role, but also Patrick Cripps and Sam Walsh played really well and tallied it up on the Supercoach scoreboard. So that should help Caleb Strong there. But look, Max Gawn against West Coast at the MCG. Matt Flynn is out injured. So again, it goes back to that beneficiary of ruck match. We saw what Lloyd Meek did on the weekend. I think he scored 144. If Lloyd Meek's going to score 145, Maxi Gorn should be scoring 200 at the MCG. So I think that's a really good matchup there.
There's other options, I think. I don't know.
And then the other one we have there is Brisbane against Adelaide. Does Dane Zorko get off the chain again at the Gabba? Does Josh Dunkley get off the chain? Lockie Neal. Plenty of options there. So look, at the moment, I'm leaning Merritt into Gorn. But the Bont is always there. Where are you going, Spills?
Can I propose an elephant that's not in the room?
Okay.
I'm looking at a Flanders VC, mate, against North.
I don't mind it.
I reckon, I don't want to be too stiff on Flanders, but I think he's a great mid, but I think he's an even better downhill skier. And if North aren't on, I think he will. I think he'll belt him. I reckon he can belt him. So I like the idea of like a VC on Flanders, and maybe you fall back on. For me, it's probably Sarong or Ryan. I like both of them. Maybe Ryan, just go for. I'm sending it with my trades. I may as well send it with the captaincy and just see if I can bring myself. I think Ryan against Richmond's pretty safe as well.
There's some really good options this week, man.
This is a great week for captains.
We've been blessed with captaincy options.
Yeah, I think, and I would. Might not be what you want to hear, but if I had to pick between the Friday night game, I'd probably lean a bit more towards Dacos over Merritt. I had Merritt captain on. No, he's my VC. I reckon he was on Anzac Day. 124 he went. So just super consistent. I just don't know if he's got the ceiling. I'd rather VC someone.
That's fair. He hasn't shown the ceiling yet.
No, I'd rather, with the options we got this week, I'd rather like VC someone that has the scope to dominate, and then maybe like a safer fallback. Like I don't see how Ryan doesn't go 115 plus against Richmond. So that's pretty safe. If the Flanders VC, that high ceiling against North bombs out, then like so be it. But a little bit left field, mate. I don't mind going a little bit different to the pack. And my gut tells me that Flanders, he's never been my VC before. So I think he deserves it. He's had a great season. And against the poor teams, he's bloody good. So it is at Marvel, though. I do worry about that rather than People First Stadium. But I don't think that'll bother him too much, to be honest. I think, I like him as a shout. Plenty of good options, though, mate.
I guess the other part of this, the reason why I said Merritt is I've used the same captaincy logic that I use with Max Gawn, typically after a loss, like the one that stung against Brisbane for Maxi. Zach Merritt had probably the worst second half of his last couple years of his career. He'd be pretty filthy. I reckon he's going to come out firing on Friday.
I like it.
And Collingwood's a good matchup to do it. That's the premise behind it. It's not so much in the statistics or anything. But like you say, Merritt hasn't shown the ceiling this year. He's got a safe floor, and I'd say safe floor after he scored 78. But that's not what you're really looking for.
That's a one-off, though. You won't get that again.
I reckon he bounces back big time against Collingwood, but we'll just have to wait and see how he goes. So, look, Phils, that brings us to the end of the podcast. We've been without our fearless leader, DR, today, but we're looking forward to getting him back on next week. We're not going to spoil it, but we've got a very special announcement for next week, and we've got a very special episode of the podcast in 2 weeks' time. So we won't spoil too much, but definitely be on the watch out for some big news coming up from the Swordplay side of things in the next couple of days and in the next couple of weeks. Spilsy, do you have anything to finish us off, mate?
No, it's gonna be good to have DR back. But I always like when we got a bit of a trio on the potty, because when someone can't make it, the show goes on. So there's been a few situations where I haven't been able to make it, vice versa.
Europe.
You're in Europe. DR's at basketball, whatever the case is. We still get the potty up, and I think the viewers will like that a lot, because they know they're never going to miss out. You know, we're going to be very consistent with it, and it's been good. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and hope your side's going well. Hope you've got a completed side. It's got fewer frauds than mine anyway. I'm willing to fix that, but Yeah, all chips on the table, Janath. I'm going for broke. If it fails, I'd bomb. But if I get through Carnage free with a little bit of luck, I genuinely think this side could make the top 1K if there are no injuries. Like I've got that much faith in it now that I've fixed up those two terrible spots.
Yeah.
But 0 trades. So God, we'll see what happens. I
That's right.
don't do what I'm doing. If you have 0 trades and you want to do a luxury sideways, it's not the case at all. I need to get back in the comp. So, but yeah, no, good episode, mate. Well done hosting tonight. Always do a great job, and yeah, I think that'll do it.
That'll wrap us up. Well, legends, thank you for joining in. We answered all your questions. Thank you for sending them through. They're never too much or anything. We hope that you make some good, informed decisions. And I guess my main piece of advice is, if you feel like you've settled on your trades, settle on them and just put them away, because you don't want to overthink at the last minute. I guess it was a great week of learning for me as a Supercoach player as well last week, as to how not to overcomplicate a simple game and to not overthink it, because it can really dampen sort of the mood sort of thing. But yeah, just take it easy, go through with your decisions, back your gut in, and as always, have fun playing this great game that we call Supercoach. See you guys all next week.
Nice and said. See you guys.